Joining us now to review some of the headlines of today's newspapers from around the world is our Arise News analyst, Emmanuel Efeni, the Great Malabite.
Good morning, Ruben.
Action.
Good morning, Rufai.
Action.
Rufai without L.
Yes.
Yes. Good morning, Victoria Tundu, MQ Abiola.
Good
morning.
Yes. With your mischief.
Now, let's start the review, Ruben. With this day, Nigeria's newspaper of record, the lead story, Shettima will be equitable, just, inclusive, if elected. It will be disastrous if Tinubu loses presidential poll, says Peter Obi would get Southeast, South-South votes. Accuses Khan of being PDP religious wing. Well, let's just dissect this and distinguish who is saying what. Well, Shettima, the running mate of Senator Kashim Shettima, the running mate of the APC candidate Bola Ahmed Tinubu, yes, assuring Nigerians that if they are elected, irrespective of the religious coloration of that ticket, they will be equitable, just, inclusive, which is a good thing to say at this time. But the statement by, Hilliard Etta, former, I think he was a former vice chairman of South of the APC, that accusing the Christian Association of Nigeria of being religious wing of PDP. I think people should not complicate matters for the APC candidate. People like Hilliard Etta, I think if Tinubu, I know he knows his onions and he has a media team, they should keep people like Hilliard Etta very far from their campaigns. If he can make this kind of inciting statement describing the Christian Association of Nigeria, who had genuine reason to say, look, we have a secular state, or rather a president picks a running mate who is a Christian to reflect the religious diversity of Nigeria, and Nigeria being a secular state. You don't go on the rooftop to start insulting Christian leaders who have made their views known. And even alluding to the fact that why did the Christian leaders not shout when PDP picked Atiku Abubakar, a Fulani? What is the business of the Christian Association of Nigeria with tribe of who is ruling? They spoke out because they felt the ticket was not being sensitive to the religious sensibilities of the country, especially at a time like this. So the likes of Hilliard Etta should just go and hide their face somewhere instead of abusing Christian leaders. Because imagine if it's the other way around. Some persons describing the umbrella body of another religion as a wing of a political party. I know there will be a lot of hue and cry. So Hilliard Etta, yes, I almost confused him with a very good friend, Christian Etta, who is a colleague who is doing well in Cross River State. But Hilliard Etta, I don't think he has spoken well, and he should be taught how to talk on matters like this, because I'm sure the Asiwaju Ahmed Bola Tinubu want to douse this tension on religious ticket as much as possible. But the likes of Hilliard Etta are ready to pour some petrol somewhere so that it will continue to light. So he's not a friend of the Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu campaign, and I think he should be treated as such. Now, the Daily Independent newspaper, Atiku may sacrifice Ayu to assuage aggrieved Wike's camp as PDP Board of Trustees meets today to resolve crisis. Yes, a lot to chew today as the Board of Trustees of the PDP meets. And I think that will also be followed by the meeting of the National Working Committee. A solution for this ongoing brickbats between the wicked wing. Yes, I think that's a good name to call that a group now. The wicked wing of the PDP. At least they have not described themselves as new PDP. So I'm sure many are rest assured that they are still within the group. The wicked wing of the PDP needs to be assuaged. And we'll see how the leaders, the elders, will resolve that matter. And I'm sure they need that resolution quick and fast. Now, the Nation newspaper, Lagos, Kano, top registration, Ekiti, Bayelsa, Yobe, Gombe have list voters. INEC begins cleanup of voters register. Yes, the outcome of the continuous voter registration, which ended on July 31. Yes, Kano, Lagos, Kano still have the biggest number in the registered voters. But Lagos, we need to do better because you have so much on the voters list, but at the end of the day, not more than 1 million people come out to vote in Lagos. I hope that will change in 2023, maybe, since we have a presidential candidate from Lagos, something will be different, because we also know that oftentimes there are efforts to suppress Lagos votes by people who don't want all the votes to be counted. I'm not going to start mentioning names now, but we know how voters were attacked in places like Okota and Surulere. Now, the Guardian newspaper, operational challenges hamper 5G deployment this month. Yes, spectrum trading could be on the card. MTN may spend $28 million on 127 new sites, targets 5 cities before year end. MAFAB awaits NCC and USA license, may acquire existing operator. Huawei tax government on terrestrial fiber deployment for better experiences. 13 African countries in race for 5G deployment. High cost of 5G phones could hinder service delivery. Well, I'm sure when the 5G is available, Nigerians will know how to maneuver and get whatever it takes. And of course, there will always be a cheaper version from somewhere in Southeast Asia to enable people to enjoy the 5G when it is available. Now, the Business Day newspaper, weak Naira adds 548 billion Naira to Nigeria's external debt. Yes, the external debt obligation of the federal and state governments in Naira terms increased by an additional 548.07 billion between March 31 and August 1, 2022, due to the decline in the value of the country's currency against the US dollar. Now, the Daily Trust newspaper, travelers stranded as dollar shortage hits banks. I can't access Forex to attend to my health abroad. A patient. Fake applications, our nightmare. Banks. We are tackling the menace. Central Bank of Nigeria. Yes, so much to say about the falling value of the Naira. Well, the CBN governor should not be sleeping easy this time, I know. Now, the Punch newspaper. Yes, Punch newspaper. The lead story, terror attack, NRC, Nigerian Railway Corporation, suspends Lagos, Kano, and Jakarta train services. Gunmen shoot at passenger cars, buses at Ajaokuta. 6 vigilantes feared killed travelers, panic. Corporation stops Lagos, Kano route to avoid attacks in Minna. Kaduna tightens security. Well, this is the fate of Nigerians. You travel by air, you are doomed. Too expensive. You travel by road, you are doomed. Bandits are also on the road. You travel by rail, of course, well-known story. You may just end up in the kidnapper's den, where they will feed you once in a day with only carbohydrates, give you 10,000 Naira. When they hit the bullseye in picking another ransom to go and buy whatever you want from their own people, because there is a life in the forest where these people are living large with the blood and money of innocent Nigerians. Now, let's look at securities. Daily Sun newspaper, fight against terrorism. Buhari gives military full powers. 6 foreign help. As policemen flood Abuja, Onoikon urges Nigerians to join forces. I'm sure even journalists are even having problems describing what the president is saying, especially when it comes to insecurity. When you read that news, there was one term used, strongly directed. Yes, the president strongly directed. I don't know what that means, but when you give marching order, nothing happens.
Higher form of direction.
Yes, so the journalist must look for a way to describe it, strongly directed. But I will just stay with the headline of the Daily Sun. Buhari gives military full powers, 6 foreign help. 2 issues here. Full powers, what does that mean? Yes, a couple of days ago, I broached the idea. Perhaps our military are being held back by political authority. So if they are being given full powers now, what does that mean? That they can go anywhere and smoke these guys out. Because the military we know, the Nigerian military we know, should not be turning their backs in the face of ragtag soldiers, terrorists and bandits. So if they've been given full power, that means they can smoke these guys out irrespective of where they live. Well, so we should be expecting something more drastic from the military. Because Abuja is being encircled, if you will. Bandits in Niger State, bandits, terrorists in Nasarawa State. Now, bandits, terrorists in Kogi. These are states bordering the Federal Capital Territory. So if the military don't smoke these guys out, like they left those guys in Niger State, and before you could say Jack, they started attacking targets in Kubwa and other places in Abuja, including ambushing Brigade of Guards soldiers who were on patrol. But again, that encounter should tell us what the military can do, because the military said 30 of those guys did not go back alive. They were neutralized. They were killed. So imagine if when Nigerian authorities or wherever got the intelligence that this terrorists would attack Kubwa, the correctional facilities there, and a detachment of soldiers were sent to that location. You think those ragtag soldiers who came on motorbikes will go back scot-free? Somebody dropped the ball, and as we speak, nobody has paid the price. That is how not to be the commander-in-chief of the Nigerian Armed Forces. I imagine Obasanjo what he will do. He will smoke those guys out when he was president. You dare not kill soldiers and get away with it, because they are there to protect other Nigerians, putting their lives on the line. Now, if we just look at the foreign newspapers quickly, now the Times of London, 60% of Tory membership prefer Truss for next Prime Minister. Yes, YouGov poll for the Times of London. Who will win? Your vote. Tories were asked. 60% for Truss. Sunak, 26%. Will not vote. 2%. Of course, 11% don't know who they will vote for yet. So, Prime Minister Liz Truss seemed to be in the offing, but not exactly so yet, because the votes have to be cast first. But the Daily Telegraph is reporting hacking warning delays Tory votes. And voting for the next Prime Minister has been delayed after GCHQ warned that cyber hackers could change people's votes. So much for electronic voting. But it's a palpable fear, and we hope, I'm sure, the authorities there will be working around that to ensure that votes count as they are cast in the Tory leadership race. Now, the Wall Street Journal, Pelosi visits Taiwan, defying China, and China is angry. Tundu. Ruben.
Yeah.
And Rufai, you're back.
She
Welcome.
insisted on going on that trip. I guess she couldn't
really back down because it'll look like she's kowtowing to China, but there will be consequences, won't there, Mr. Ifeni? But regarding...
but it has done something for the image of Joe Biden, because...
He looks tougher now.
Yes, on China.
Yeah. I want to go back to the Tory leadership race.
Yeah.
It does look from that poll that Liz Truss has an unassailable lead. I don't know what magic Rishi Sunak is going to do unless she shoots herself in the foot, which she might have done by talking about regional pay. That was a really dumb move. But she managed, I think, thankfully, to just pull it back very quickly. She didn't stick to her guns and try to be stubborn because it really caused such backlash. So that also shows, for me as a leader, I don't know how you read it, it might look like she has bad judgment, but it might also look like she's accountable and responsive. I tend to choose the latter.
Which is a virtue?
Yes, I choose the latter. I think she looks accountable and responsive. I think it shows that when people say, are you completely nuts? Talking about leveling down. The Tory manifesto is leveling up. And she just immediately took it back. Unlike Rishi Sunak, who has been criticized for really digging his heels in about no tax cuts because he feels that that's completely a fantasy that they're selling. But look at what it's costing him in terms of the lead that she now has. But with regards to Russia and the allegations that Russia is trying to interfere in the Tory leadership contest, we saw that with Trump and Clinton, didn't we? And that Russia was alleged to have gone in favor of Trump. Who do you think that Russia might be supporting if they're trying to hack? Sunak or Truss? Because obviously they must have a party. Who's the Manchurian candidate now? Because I'm trying to think, who do they want then? If they're trying to hack into the...
How they have tried to address it is that, look, originally, Tory voters were given the opportunity to change their mind, before the final deadline. But now that has been cancelled to prevent the possibility.
So that somebody doesn't change everybody's mind.
To prevent the possibility of hacking. That's where they are. But, clearly, yes, Liz Truss is in the lead with all the support she got from Penny Mordaunt.
All the heavyweights.
All
Zawahiri, Tugendhat, Ben Wallace, everybody is on the side.
All the heavyweights.
David Frost,
beginning to look like Liz Truss or nobody else. But, the question I don't want to bring up with regard to that race is there a racial...
Of course there is.
There is a racial... But nobody is talking about it.
That's the
Everybody
reason.
is keeping that...
neon elephants in the room.
On that, that matter. You can sense it. The establishment is...
but one half of you is still paying your tax in somewhere else.
However, finally...
There's that too.
Of course.
I would like to draw attention to the editorial in Punch today.
Yeah, the Punch
at page 17. Which praises the Vice President, Osinbajo, and the editorial is titled, Osinbajo's surgery shows folly of medical tourism. The Vice President elected to be treated for a knee, issue.
Knee operation.
At Duchess International here in Lagos. And the same newspaper talks about his boss, President Buhari, having spent over 200 days in total of medical tourism in the UK. And the paper says, look, it's possible here if we pay more attention to the healthcare system. The only thing I find missing in the editorial is that, the editorial doesn't quite talk about ideas, about what we can do to upgrade our public health system. But it says, yes, we have to worry about the National Health Insurance Scheme. We should review it, and we should, pay more attention to the cost of medical tourism. I think it's an important subject.
Yeah, but except that I don't like that comparison with the president. Because if you have been sick for a longer time, you have longer health challenge history. And you have been taking your treatment somewhere, you just continue there. And Osinbajo, as we know him, he's always been spry and in his having that spring on his feet, not one known to be sick. So, and when he had that issue, he could
It's a fracture, it's not an illness.
Okay, no.
Fracture. To buttress your point.
Yeah, so
it's not an illness.
you can very well look around and see that, yes, there are Nigerians who can do this, let me use them. But the president maybe has a history which has been treated like he said, I have my doctors in the UK.
Yeah.
You don't just
say,
for patriotism's sake, you just abandon your doctors.
I think the concern of the editorialist is not using public funds to treat yourself.
But it's the president.
Abroad.
It's the president.
No, even still, I actually don't agree with using public funds to treat yourself abroad. It's not on.
Yeah,
it's not cricket.
Well, but
use your own money to do that.
Well, we've not been told where the money comes from.
Exactly. And if he's had his doctors in London, as was said, I remember it was quite a scandal at the time when that was posited. That suggests to me that he's been using his own money to treat himself in the UK, so I hope that has continued.
So you don't just change your doctor just because you're not the president. So,
but in all,
comparison is not appropriate as far as I'm concerned.
Let's not also forget the fact that illness differ. And there are specialists for certain forms of illnesses. We cannot deny that fact. Yes, we need to develop our healthcare system here locally and all of that, but there are specialists treating X, Y, Z. And some people might not have that specialty here, and that's why people go out. And even in developed countries, where they have all the health infrastructure, they do medical tourism too.
No, but you're talking about private
not that
individuals.
We don't have the experts. Our experts are already there.
They're already there. That's what we're saying.
Some of those specialists.
No, but are you talking about private people? Because with the president, you cannot be saying some ailments differ. We should actually know exactly what ailment we're talking about. The president's health is our business.
And that's why the president even needs to come out and tell us what ailment he's suffering from in the first place. Just like we had a president that died in office, that till date we don't know what illness he was suffering from. Until somebody said somewhere that it was a syndrome called Chong-Strauss syndrome, which, you know, the jury is out there. And pericarditis, some people, no official word. And that's why I say all political candidates for 2023 elections should release their health dossier. Let us even see what we are dealing with.
It's important.
That's not a constitutional requirement.
It's not a constitutional requirement,
but it's a people's requirement. What is the point of a democracy?
For transparency. All health, as long as you're going for public office, release your health requirements so that people can see. If you know you can't share your health details with the public, then there's no point running for public office.
No, the only thing the Constitution asks for is declaration of assets. Right?
Yes.
And mental health, clearly. You can't be...
So
but mental health is a medical record.
You must be of sound mind.
Yeah.
But for you to prove that you're of sound mind and body, you need to release a medical record.
No, the Constitution does not...
But for you to prove that you're of sound mind...
I don't think you need to release it, but you should.
You should.
I think the Constitution is the barest minimum. We cannot continue to use that
here.
I think it will really help.
Yeah.
But I like this statement, I have to just quickly say, by Senator Kashim Shettima, more of this, please. This is what we need to hear.
That's why I was very peeved about the
Hilliard one. Let's just sweep that under the carpet.
No, but it's part of this story now. It's been mixed with that story.
This Shettima statement, try and convince people. Talk to them. That's it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Emmanuel Efeni.
Yes.
The Malabite in action.